Hi, Happy New Year to all of you. In the first video of the year, 2024, I thought I will pick it up from where I had left last year. The last video that I did was about how safe was Canada for people who are coming in from different parts of the world and especially India. Today, after almost 2 months from that video, I wanted to really come back and give you everybody an understanding of where and how Canada is faring for new immigrants into this country. There are definitely some challenges, and challenges are not just of Canada, the challenges are across the globe, across the world. However, we'll talk about a couple of points in terms of understanding how you can navigate those issues that I see, and what are some of the steps that could be taken to really understand and make sure that you're able to navigate those challenges. Thank you for watching the Compass Guide channel. Please subscribe, like, and spread it among your friends and peers. They might really find it helpful. So coming back to the point of how safe, I had already explained to everyone that in ground reality, there is no safety concerns, there is no safety issues at all in Canada for anybody for that matter. The challenges that we see is, a lot of you are probably hearing about it, about the housing crisis in Canada. You're also hearing about job crisis. You're also hearing about, challenges in terms of cost of living. And I was just talking to a friend of mine in India, and he was just mentioning to me that he was reading about few things and he was concerned. So I wanted to come back to all of you and talk about these 3 points. Housing, yes. So in Canada, there has been a housing crisis over the last few years, in fact, few decades, because Canada is a country which attracts a lot of immigrants. The population growth has been happening over a period of time, and the housing starts, which is basically new house built, has been slow. And that's the reason why there has been a challenge in terms of the housing crisis as we see it. But it's more from an affordability point of view. It's more from the rents being higher. But remember, there are a couple of things that I want to bring to your notice on that. One, yes, is the government doing enough? All 3 levels of government has acknowledged the fact that this is indeed an issue and they are trying to resolve. But just to bring a point across for especially immigrants who are trying to look at Canada and looking at this housing piece as one of the challenges. Remember, this is not a typical Canada problem. This is actually a problem that's happening across Australia, UK. All these countries are facing the same kind of problems because these are countries where they need people to come into the economy because their own population is dwindling, and anything to do with housing and everything which takes time are creating bottlenecks, and that's where the challenge is. Now, can you really navigate it? I don't think you can. None of us can. But what you can do is plan and budget yourself properly. If you plan and budget yourself properly, then the chances of you not facing too much of a trouble because of this is high. Because at the end of it, if you budget properly, the chances are that you will be able to navigate this issue and figure it out. And plan ahead of time. I was just talking to an international student yesterday, and this poor chap has just landed about 7 to 10 days back, and it looks like he hasn't planned for his place and is now kind of struggling. So that's a very common thing, and to be very honest with you, this is a problem that can only be looked into if you're planned properly, if you're planning things properly. The second one about cost of living. Cost of living, yes, cost of living in Canada is higher. The inflation had gone pretty high, but it's now slowly getting under control. Prices are easing out. However, is it an expensive place? It is. And that's again, the other point that I would like to mention is about the planning, about budgeting. A lot of time, people just sees the income potential but they don't look at what the expenses are. There are a lot of websites, there are a lot of very strong, global connected websites which gives you cost of livings for as compared to cost of living from the city where you come from or the country that you come from. I would highly recommend that please do your planning accordingly. Use those websites to figure out what the cost of living exactly is, because it's not about the income, it's about the expenses. And because it's an expensive country, it's a developed world, so the cost of living is high. It's also a small country with very small population, and that's the reason why the expenses are higher. And that's the reason why it's more important to plan and budget properly, and you would have a proper expectation built based on actual reality and not about just anybody telling you everything. The third most important piece and the last point that I would like to make is about the fact that a lot of time I see that people are trying to see Canada or wherever they're moving, they only want all the good parts of that. They don't want, they also want all the good parts that they're leaving back home. Now, there is nowhere in the world where everything is just good. We have to understand that and accept that. And important that you cannot have all the good things that you left behind and also have only the good things here. It's not a very practical approach, I would say. So it's important that you manage your expectation accordingly. And as I said, housing, yes, it's a challenge, but can be navigated if you're planning it properly, if you're budgeting it properly. If you're trying to find where you're going to land properly, it is not important that you have to be only in the top centers, business centers. There are other opportunities too, so that's one. Second, from a cost of living perspective, yes, cost of living by itself is high, but it's better to try to budget it, understand your real cost of living compared to where you are coming from, and then accordingly prepare yourself. And third, manage your expectations. There's nowhere in the world where everything is only good and there's nothing bad. I hope this helps, and please, as I said, keep on watching, subscribing to this channel, and till we come back, see you. Good night, good evening.